All right, guys, I've been promising it for a while. We haven't quite hit the 100 subs, but we're down here today, so I thought I'd give you a quick tour of Railways and give you a bit of an explanation around what we do here. So Railways is a 40-year-old business thereabouts. I only bought this business 18 months ago from Jeffries, who are one of our suppliers. They make mulch or manufacture mulch. And the whole, business model around Railways is supplying building materials and landscape materials to builders and landscapers and homeowners. One part of Railways that wasn't probably one of their key strengths was the irrigation side of the business. That's something that we've brought into it from the WaterPro standpoint, and now we've got a full irrigation shop here to complement the landscape suppliers and building suppliers. So I'll show you around, give you a bit of an idea of what we do, and then if you've got any questions or comments, you know where to stick them. So this area here, up until recently, we were using as an irrigation storage yard. As you've probably seen on any of the vlogs that we've been doing, that yard is that we've opened at Dry Creek's now made it possible for us to have all of the stuff that was stored here be moved down there, and that's going to free up some space for us to actually fill this yard with landscaping and building materials so that we're able to expand this part of the business. So this little area here is affectionately known as the bag shed. All the products that are underneath this area are bag products that need to be kept protected from the rain and the sun. Ideally, the products are turning over quite regularly, so sun's not as much of a problem as rain. So what you'll see here is things like dried sand, builder's cement, concrete mix, mortar mix, those products that either get water added to them to turn them into a product, or things that need to be swept in like a sweeping sand that can't get wet. So it's not ideal, and it's not the perfect shed, but unfortunately I don't own this land. It's land that I rent from a landlord, so any improvements I make to this land need to be really thought about, because it's obviously, I need a return on investment around that period. We've got about 7 or 8 years left on our lease here, so there's some improvements I'm happy to make and some that I'm not, and we're just working through that at the moment. So that's the bag shed. This here is a brick saw. So we don't cut so many bricks, we cut more pavers than bricks. That's a paver. This is something that we're probably going to get rid of. The economics of a brick saw don't make sense. We charge a very low amount of money to cut one brick or one paver, so it might be $1 or $2 to cut it. When we need to cut it, we need to send someone down here, they turn it on, they put an apron on, they put their safety equipment on, and they cut one brick. So there's a lot of power, water, and probably more than anything else, safety concerns around this machine. This blade is more than capable of cutting your body in half, and so it's just not a great thing for us to have here. So this will disappear. We're probably one of the last companies down south of Adelaide that actually cut bricks, and it's just going to mean that people are going to either need to employ a professional to come and do their paving or their cuts, or they're going to need to hire their own cutter. But it sucks, but the reality is we are a business and we need to make smart business decisions. All the area here, we've got pavers, retaining wall blocks and sleepers that we store. So we resell Boral pavers as a brand of choice. These pavers are a dry cast cement paver that are made here in South Australia and then shipped down here. So Railways is effectively a middleman or a middle person these days between quarries, paving companies, sleeper manufacturers and mulch manufacturers as their kind of retail facing outlet to sell their products to the trade and homeowners. Behind me you'll see that's red plaster sand. We've got all of these products. I'm about to get run over. See, he's got a brick saw. You just use him. Oh, come on, man! This is Luke Hozu. He's my favourite staff member down here. So yeah, basically these bays are full of sand and rubbles and mulches that have been either mined or manufactured. The sands are taken from quarries. The quarries are usually areas that aren't close by to these yards. So what will happen is the quarry will sell the sand and metal into a large truck, so a truck and trailer. They can usually hold about 24 tonne, and then they'll tip them into our bays and then we sell them in small quantities. So it's kind of the mums and dads looking to fill their trailer with products to do stuff at home, or the tradespeople that are buying our truckloads of deliveries to their site. Our trucks are capable of doing anything from 0 tonne up to 13 tonne in one truck. And then obviously if people need more than that, then they'll get a truck and trailer from a quarry. So obviously this is an actual business that's operating, so making a film walking around the yard is going to be complicated. So what we've got next in this bay next to me is Jeffries Gardener's Choice mulch. So These mulch products are generally made from recycling green waste or timber. So if you can think a pine forest that's been cut down, and then all of the byproduct of those trees that have been turned into building product becomes mulch. So Jeffrey's, as an example, are a South Australian owned business. They take waste products from green waste, so the green bins that we have out the front of our house, where you've got your your food scraps from your house and any green waste and cardboards, and then they turn them into mulches and composts. So that's this row here, and then some of the other ones. So this yellow loader here is a JCB. When I bought the business, the JCB was the only loader that the business owned. It's quite a large loader, but it's also quite an old loader, and it's at the point in its life now where lots is going to go wrong. Because I bought it so inexpensively, we're not going to get rid of it, and we'll just always have it here to do general work. I couldn't rely on it being the loader that would last forever, so we've bought another loader, which is the orange one you see cruising around. That's a Kubota. It's a bit smaller, so it's not able to reach as high when we're loading up the large trucks, but it's much more reliable. It's an enclosed cab, new air conditioning, all that jazz. So these loaders have scales fitted to their buckets. So all of the products that we sell here that are sands and mulches, sands and rubble, so things that we sell by the ton, we can weigh with those buckets because of the scales in the buckets. And then all of the products we sell that are mulches, we sell by the cubic meter or the yard. All the buckets have a certain size. So there's a bucket just tipping off right here, if you want to catch that. That bucket there, you'll see there's a mesh grate at the top of it. The bucket itself, filled completely to the top, is 1 cubic meter. So that bucket has that mesh on it. Everything, so if you want a cubic yard, which is 0.76 of a cubic meter, it's a measurement that's kind of used in the olden days. People will come in and say, I want a yard of mulch. A yard of mulch is that bucket filled up to the bottom of the grate, so the grate's there so the guy loading can see. If they want a cubic meter, it's a full bucket. So because mulch has varying densities, it's impossible for us to sell it by the ton, so we sell it by the meter. The majority of the time when people buy pavers from us, they get them delivered direct to site, because there's no point having a truck come from the manufacturing facility to here to drop off 5 pallets of pavers and then that get put on another truck and get taken out. So what you see in the yard here is the extra pavers that people might need if they want to come and buy 1 or 2 to finish a job, or if someone wants to just do a small job on a weekend, they can come and buy them from here. So we store these up here, and then all the ones that you saw in the other area, which is behind where Aiden's standing now, those pavers are usually sold, and that's a to collect area waiting for collection. You're probably wondering what this is. That's a sand silo. So that's full of a kiln dried sand that they use to sweep between pavers. So it's this sand here. It's really, really fine. The idea is when you do a paving job with these pavers, you sweep that between the cracks and it stops the pavers from moving and cracking against each other. Did Hozu tell you you're my favourite staff member? That was one of the trucks that we took as part of the acquisition of the company. The only thing that we've really changed since we've owned that truck is to put a new clutch in it every 12 months for some reason. And then stickers. Driver's still taking off in second in that truck. Is that why I'm getting new clutches? In third now, there you go. So we're gonna get whatever gear they like the most, we're gonna get it permanently fixed. Just drive around only in third. So no more manual trucks. If you're going to open a landscape supplies yard, only buy automatic trucks. So yeah, that was the 8-tonner. The truck behind me, what do you call this, a 5-tonner or a 4.5-tonner? 4.5. So that's its maximum payload. Unless I'm driving, then it's like 4.4. So same with these trucks. One of the small trucks came when I bought the business, and we've just changed the signage on it to make it kind of more brand on point. So this green that we've wrapped the cabs in, we don't own this green, but it was the most appropriate green for me. I really wanted these trucks as for people to drive down the road and go, oh, wow, there's a railways truck. That is called grass green. Doesn't belong to us. The reason why I'm saying that, Jeffrey's, who we buy the mulch from, have actually got their own green for their trucks, which they've specifically bought and ordered that vinyl. I couldn't commit financially to that much, and I don't have as many trucks as them. So this is probably a truck. This is the kind of more normal sized truck that would be going out on a day-to-day basis when people order 1 or 2 ton of product. And sadly, it's sitting in the yard. Obviously, when trucks aren't moving, we're not making money. But the reality is you kind of need to have as many trucks or more trucks than you need at any one point. So there's going to be an amount of trucks sitting in yards sometimes. So Obviously you've seen the 8 tonner and the 4.5 tonner. We've got 2 of these 4.5 tonners, the 1 8 tonner, and then we've got the tandem, which I'll show you now. So this is the Kubota I was talking about before. There you go. I've driven this once. Actually, interesting point, I don't actually have a truck license either, so I'm not legally allowed to drive any of these trucks on the road with loads in them. I have driven the 8 tonner in the yard. Don't tell anyone, don't tell Luke, he'll get upset. So the Kubota is maybe a year old. We had it fitted with scales, as I said before, the load, I think they're load right scales. So when I bought the business, the JCB had a specific brand of scales on them that the guys liked. We ended up going with a different set of scales for this. I don't think we'll use those scales again. We've had a lot of trouble with them in the early days. With a scale, like obviously scales need to be calibrated and they need to be exact because you're selling products by the ton or by the kilo. With this loader, you have to tar the scales by lifting the bucket right up, lifting it down, lifting it up, lifting it down. It's so time consuming. So as with any business or government body or anywhere where there's people doing a job or a day-to-day task, when you try to introduce something new, there's generally resistance. Sometimes the resistance is warranted. In this case, I think maybe the scales, I mean, they're not but they're just a bit slower than the yellow one. So that's what a loader looks like. It's a pretty cozy loader. They've got a seat that jumps up and down. The cab's air conditioned and heated. Obviously windscreen wipers so you can load in the rain. But yeah, have a look around. I can't really explain to you what much of this stuff does, but it picks up stuff and puts it in things. Vince is like the Nick Scaife of JCB Kubota drivers. He also has a really f***ed up sense of humour. Oh, you going out, are you? I was just saying, when trucks don't move, they don't make money, and here it goes, perfect. Landscape supplies is quite an interesting industry. Obviously, people don't pre-buy landscape supplies and store them at their house like they might be able to do with toilet paper or if they see tomatoes on special in tins and they can buy it. So it's a really on-demand business. So we don't really know how busy we're going to be a week before the day. It's really the day before the day, which makes it kind of hard rostering, and you know, you've got staff that you're trying to give some kind of balance between work and life. And we do the best we can, but as Stewie just said, there's plenty on the board. The sun's out. The South Australian building market is busy as. There's no reason we should be quiet at the moment. The government are currently trying to work out where he is, so don't put him on. Actually, speaking of where the government are trying to put him.
He's probably more of a risk.
So this is a diesel forklift?
This is a diesel forklift. Little diesel runs forever.
So the reason we went diesel for a forklift is because we have diesel on site, I think, or we used
Correct.
to. Yep.
We still do.
So there's no LPG tank. You'd usually see an LPG tank on a forklift. Is this dual fuel or just diesel?
Just diesel.
Yep. So
just diesel.
it's a low forklift, so it's a container forklift. You can drive this into a shipping container, which isn't super relevant for railways, but we do have containers
so often,
now.
Yeah, we do have
Yep.
containers. So every so often, and every so often we get containers in. So
Yep.
we have to get in there, unload it. So this is perfect for that.
So if we were still importing stone from overseas and it was coming here in a shipping container or whatever.
Exactly
Yep.
right. We can get in there, unload it pretty quickly, and away we go.
Yep. I found this quite different to drive than the normal forklifts. Compared to a gas forklift, it almost needs like more gas. I don't know.
It's
Laggy?
it's traditional of a diesel.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels
So-
like driving a
so-
diesel car. Yeah, so it's a turbo diesel? You wouldn't
I
think.
wouldn't think it's a turbo diesel.
It's like,
no,
what?
it's just a little diesel
You just
engine,
got to
nothing.
spool it up before you take off. So, yeah, this is just obviously another one of the machines. It's been good to us, I think.
It's been excellent.
Yeah, we bought this second hand for 10 or 12 grand Australian dollars. So if you're watching this in the US, basically like $1.50
Pretty much.
US.
Pretty much. But yeah, no, we've never had a problem with
No.
it. Let's get a service regularly.
Looks like it might need some new front tyres.
Front tyre, yeah, maybe look. it
Don't look at the front
works-
tyres.
It works 20%.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the forklift. And that was Luke Kozu, my favourite employee at Railways, until we talked to someone else.
Remember that.
Yeah. All right. So this is the money shot here. Look at that weird dude driving the train. So as I said before, we can do deliveries up to 13 tonne. This truck is our 13 tonne truck. This is the last truck we've bought for here, and it's a tandem. So it's a slightly different purpose truck, and that's why it's sitting in the yard. It's not as regular for our business, and obviously other businesses are different, but it's not as common for us to be delivering 13 tonne loads as it is to be delivering 1s and 2s, which is what you're seeing going out all the time. A truck like this, I think this costs $206,000, including GST on road, and then obviously we wrapped it with stickers and everything else. So that's a lot of money just to be sitting still. The reality is if you don't have it, you can't use it, but when you've got your first truck, it takes some time to build up that momentum of people regularly booking it. So it's there for people to use. It's not moving as much as it should, but what will happen is that'll start moving regularly and we'll need to buy another one. So it's just a vicious circle. So that's an automatic. Obviously I mentioned before that we had that issue replacing clutches on the 8-tonner. This truck here is an automatic, so we won't be replacing clutches, but then obviously it brings a whole nother gambit of issues. But it's a pretty cool truck. Like the whole cockpit's like I don't know, like a pilot jet, a cockpit for a plane. So I don't even know if it's unlocked. We'll see. I bet there's an alarm on or something. Do you leave this unlocked? That would be silly, wouldn't it? Thanks. Beep, beep. So this truck is, I bought this truck without seeing it. So Luke was quite like, oh, let's go look at trucks. And he wanted to spend time looking at trucks. And I was like, I don't have time for that. Is that the truck you want? He's like, yep. I'm like, we'll negotiate the best price you can get and buy it. So, yeah, I don't know if you can get up there and have a look, but there's like a bed at the back. So obviously you've got those trucks where people can sleep in them. I'm guessing you could lie down in here if you wanted to. But I don't know how comfortable it would be to have a full sleep. So, what? You want to come for a drive? Yeah. I'll drive. What beach did he say? Galwa Beach. Drive it on the beach. Can you drive at Galwa? Nah, we can take it to Aldinga. So yeah, I've only been a passenger in this truck, but when we first bought it, I got one of the drivers to take me to the chicken shop and we bought fish and chips, or chicken and chips for lunch, and drove the truck to pick it up. So yeah, bit of fun for me. But yeah, that's this truck, brand new automatic. It's been good to us. I'd buy it again. I don't know a lot about it, but I think you're meant to use the stairs to get out. You'll probably wonder why all the trucks that are parked up have their tailgate up. So when you park a truck, so there's a few things. When you park a forklift and a loader, you put your forks and your bucket down. Ideally, that means that there's no hydraulic pressure being used to hold them up, but it also is a safety issue, so no one's going to walk into your forks. With your trucks, we leave the tailgates up so that if it rains, any water that gets in the tailgate will run off, which means you're not going to get rust in your tailgate. Tailgate? Whatever. So that's it. I'll show you in here. This is the sales office for the landscape supply side of the business. So when I bought the business, the irrigation shop was there and the landscape supply shop was here. It still is. And it's kind of disconnected and it's something that we're working on. But as I said before, I don't own this land, so I don't want to spend unnecessary amounts of money building a new building. So we're trying to work out a transportable solution for here. What you can see behind me now is an unfinished, unstarted landscape display. We're going to build a really nice landscape here so that people can come out here, sit down and feel what their backyard might feel like using the products that we sell to give them a real idea around, I guess, choosing their products. So if you have a look through here, it's quite pokey and disconnected. It's something that I'm aware of and that I want to fix, but it works. So in this building, we stock products that are most likely to be used by the landscape community that's not irrigation. So glues, additives, cements, weed mats, plastics, stormwater fittings, viscose, that kind of thing. So we've done the best we can with the area that we've got. All these shelves are new. When we first bought the business, they had, just walk in front of it, we had timber sleepers sitting on top of pavers. I'll see if I can get a photo of it and give it to Aiden, he can cut it in. They just used stuff they had in the yard. So this is the kitchen. Usually if the oven's on really low, Phil's here. Phil starts warming his lunch up when he gets here in the morning and warms it up at like 40 degrees for about 15 hours, but he's not here today. This is the coffee machine. I've talked about it before plenty of times. Before we actually had paid the settlement to buy the business, this coffee machine was installed. This is the first thing I'll do in any new business is install a coffee machine. Matt has worked around us long enough to realize that me making vlogs is less important than him selling shit. So he will walk in front of the camera, unlike the other guys. So yeah, we've got coffee here. We've had to start bringing in almond milk as the world becomes more sensitive with their gut health. So we do that now. And then this is the office. It's where all the action happens. So as I said before, it's quite pokey. It's a house, I think, or it was a house. What the fuck, did people live here? On this block? Like 100 years ago? Did people live in this? And then this is the sales counter. So the shelves they had here were very similar, built from old railway sleepers. So Railways was Railway Sleeper Company, that's right. And then it got shortened to Railways. This is Vince. Hello. If he smiles, capture it on camera and we can send video of him smiling to everyone. That's a very brief introduction to what the business is about and what we do. It's quite I enjoy the business. The customer base that we work with in the landscape industry is unbelievable. Everyone's good. There's no crazy hero types that think they're better than everyone. And if they are, they're buying from our competitors anyway. But that is that. There's a lot of things I want to change about this place around the kind of displays and the buildings and that. But the reality is all of that costs money and we will just do it as we have time. This is Jesus. What you see here is our free trailer hire. We've got a tipper trailer. That's right, this trailer will tip stuff out for you so you don't have to think about it. And then 3 standard trailers. So part of the service here, if you want to come by and get some stuff but you don't have the suitable vehicle for it, is you can hire one of these trailers at no charge for 2 hours if you're buying product from us. They are not here to help you move house. So you don't just come and buy stuff and then use the trailer to move house. You just hire the trailer. So you can put some mulch in that and you can just tip it out and come back. You don't have to unload it and then you can just take it in at your leisure. So yeah, free trailer hire. You don't have to spend a certain amount of money. As long as you're buying product from us and you have the trailer back within 2 hours, it's free for you to use. So that's pretty much it. That's the yard tour as you see it today. Hopefully as we make changes, you'll start to see more and more popping up in the vlogs. And once that landscape display's there, we'll have a really nice event and get everyone down. So yeah, thanks for tuning in this far. If you are enjoying the content, please give the video a like. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would really love it if you could do that. And that is it. That was Railways.